last time I was on here, but okay, so this guy right here, if everybody's not know this gentleman, this person is called Yellow Flash 2. He used to be just called Yellow Flash, and this guy does usually a little bit political things right here, but this one kind of you know, gravitates toward me because my channel, if you guys not have already follow my channel, I normally talk about manga and anime stuff. I'm kind of a fan of mangas and anime or anything anime really. I like it, and I love Japan's storytelling. I love their culture. You know, not everything is perfect about it, but I enjoy what they present and how they present things, and like how their messages are. And I just think they're overall they're a very interesting culture. And I am a fan of one of their most beloved culture, which is anime and manga. So, somebody in the United Nations wants to try to censor and stop anime, manga, and video games, which is also part of our, you know, my branding, my hobby, if you want to call it that, even though I'm trying to make it something more than just a hobby. And they're trying to censor it and stop it from going a big thing. According to what the description of it, in order to protect women, is that the description here? So I want to hear what this guy said. I have not watched this video, so this will be a live reaction. I'm curious about what they're trying to do to, you know, as they say, trying to save the women. I don't think women need to be saved. I think they're just fine. I think they're relatively safe, and there's nothing to really be concerned about, but they want to make a big deal out of it. So let's see what it is they're trying to do.
All right. We've got the UN trying to get Japan to change its ways again. This has happened several times now, at least one other time. So this would be the second time that they've done this, and they have concerns. They're concerned because Japan largely ignored their last report. At least that's what I saw from the report that Niche Gamer has that I'm going to go over.
Yeah, usually Japan don't give a about what other people think.
People from other countries are trying to tell Japan how they need to do things. And when you read this report, UN to urge Japan to end discrimination against women. Well, you know, that sounds great. Let's stop hurting women. Well, some of the main things in this report that they had were censorship on anime, video games, and manga regulations. So they want Japan to have more regulation on their art, basically.
Which art is subjective. Art is the eye of the beholder. You can look at it with an image and have 1,000 different opinions on it. You know how the usual saying goes. And of course, if people think that something was bad, right? Let's say you take a group of 1 million people and 250,000 people do not like it, but all the rest of it do like it by the showing of sales and consumption and so forth, right? They like that kind of stuff. Therefore, to the eye of the human race, to the eye to the people, the majority will think that that is a positive thing or a good thing or okay thing. It doesn't really give off bad, right? Now, if that is a sign of this is good, right? If majority of people like it, but then the 25% people say they do not like it, why would they need to protect the other 75% of people? The 75 people already like it. Why trying to change it just for the 25%? Now, that's just a math analogy here. It's a simple equation, simple thought, and it's an experiment here. And at the same time, what is the purpose of you trying to defend women when women didn't ask you to defend them? Dumbass cat, I swear to God. If the women didn't ask for defending, right, then there seems to be no problem. But if a very small group of women say, defend me, right, as if women are not able to protect themselves, as if women are not able to, you know, be able to say and do things to keep themselves, you know, isolated or from being, and their idea of being attacked or whatever, they can defend themselves. Then again, men will defend women if they're attacked or they're belligerent, but women are very good at tearing you down if they have a good enough mouth on them. I had plenty of women give word to a couple guys back in my high school days that the guy was bigger than them, but they made the guys feel really smart, or they were done with, giving them a scrap of words. Oh boy, they could tear you down. That's why I didn't really try to get in a word fight with many girls back when I was in high school and college. But just people are trying to say, women, you can't defend yourself. Let us protect you. No, I'm pretty sure they're good, bro. I'm pretty sure they're good, and a lot of people say they like that kind of stuff. So why are you trying to protect them when they never asked you for it in the first place? I'm not subscribing to that kind of ideology or whatever.
And this is a no-no with this politician, Yamada Taro, who pretty much ran on being a weeb. Like his whole he's like in their house, and he won his position on basically saying, listen, I'm going to protect anime and manga and video games. I don't like censorship. I don't like people coming in and trying to change our art.
Yeah, which is one of their biggest imports or exports. Like, it's one of their biggest things. It's one of the things they're most proud of. You're attacking their most beloved thing in all of Japan, anime, manga, and video games. It's just like attacking Korea for K-pop. You do that and wait for you to get a mob of the entire nation on your ass saying, no, that's not happening, bro. This dude's like, hey, I'm speaking for Japan, and I have every right to speak on behalf of it, because I know the majority of people will back me up. No, don't touch our stuff. Don't change stuff. Don't censor stuff. And I'm totally down for it.
That was his position. Unless that's changed, I would love to hear from some of my Japanese subscribers in the comments on this guy. But he seems pretty cool from what I've gathered on him. I'm pretty sure I ran a video on him years ago talking about how he won his political position basically on defending Japanese art, which I thought was pretty cool, because they do need strong political leaders over there. And
let's see. I'm gonna screw back here a little bit so I can maybe see what what he says, because I want to read what he says here, just so we get a better concept of what it was going on here.
So with this politician,
okay. Oh shit, he was fast. He was really fast with that scrolling up thing.
Basically, and this is a no-no with this politician.
Okay, on October 29th, the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, published a concluding observation on Japanese 9th periodic report. This was prepared following a face-to-face review of the 9th report on the implication of a conversation on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, which was held on October 17th. The following concerns were expressed that pornography, video games, manga, and other animated productions may incite violence against women and girls based on gender and sexual orientation, and further recommended the effectively implementing existing legal measures and monitoring programs that address the okay, I'm sorry, my number is dyslexia, so you probably read this way better than I do. Addressing the product discrimination, pornography, video games. I've already got past that. Animation products, referring to referencing discriminatory gender stereotypes, reinforcing sexual violence against women and girls. However, the government's I'm not gonna read all that, has confirmed the content of the face-to-face screening, but no questions were asked about manga, animes, and games, despite not being checked during the face-to-face screening, and the company expressing its concern. The one-sided content denies the freedom of expression in mangas, animes, and games, and calls for them to coordinated through legal actions and surveillance, which is extreme object. We will consider questions that the sources and ground be disclosed, and the also requesting the restrictions of this as not possible. So pretty much saying that they're going to be like, oh, if you do this kind of stuff, we're going to need to like check over it, look over it, and if we don't like it, we're going to remove it from your game. We're going to remove it from your thing, even though it's freedom of expression, right? Art is a freedom of expression, and if if someone has that idea or that things or what that kind of scenario, they just should allow to have it. And these people want to have legal rights, like, hey, every time you put something out, unless we say it's good. Wrong button. Unless we say it's all right to air it and show it and put it like that, or view it in that depiction or whatever, you can't have it in there. Even though in real life, bad things happen to women, bad things happen to men. It goes both ways. There is violence in different ways. I know I was going through half my life being bullied, and every moment I was awake or at school or even at home at times, I felt my life was at threat. I felt like I was in danger, and that's just how it is of being a man. It's not that fun. Anybody out there thinking I'm going around and not feeling afraid of every person I come across, especially the male, might not get my face knocked in just because I might say something that they don't agree to, and they might have a dependency for violence. And then gets me, and I'm a dude. I'm not gonna be able to take every Jack Daniels there is out there. I could get punched by anybody and be surprised they be very much in some kind of martial arts, and I just get my ass knocked to the ground in one hit, and I'm dead. There's plenty examples of that. So I'm just saying, people have been knocked to the face before, and they have died. So violence against women is just like violence against men. No one worries about the violence against men, but they only discuss about it against women. I know women, we troop and protect them. I'm okay with that, but you can't stop that. This is a reality. This does happen. And people want to bring that to light or show the reality of the world. It happens, and doesn't make it right in a sense of it does happen, but we can't just ignore it as if it never happens. It does happen. And in art, people want to depict that so they can show it. Yeah, this kind of stuff, this kind of stuff can happen.
Yamada, who pretty much ran on being a weeb. Like his whole he's like in their house, and he won his position on basically saying, listen, I'm going to protect anime and manga and video games. I don't like censorship. I don't like people coming in and trying to change our art. That was his position. Unless that's changed, I would love to hear from some of my Japanese subscribers in the comments on this guy. But he seems pretty cool. From what I've gathered on him, I'm pretty sure I ran a video on him years ago talking about how he won his political position basically on defending Japanese art, which I thought was pretty cool. Because they do need strong political leaders over there to safeguard the way they do things.
Yeah, because everybody's trying to, every nation, and I hate to say this, but a lot of nations are trying to dictate what other nations should do and how they should do things and how they should think. And I'm not a mind of that. I'm a mind of, if one nation thinks this way and that's how they would think and that's how they do things, that's how their culture, do not try to dictate what they should do. Just because you feel like it's wrong doesn't mean they feel like it's wrong. Now, only time I think there should be some kind of change is if somebody's dying. Like literally, if someone is dying, you are killing your people, starving or otherwise, then okay, we get discussion. You are purposely getting your people killed and purposely having your people dying, then we can have that discussion. Doesn't mean I'm still getting involved with that, but I'm gonna give you my opinion on how you can maybe better and change that. I don't like it. I don't like violence as much as the next person doesn't, but I don't think you should go there and try to tell people what to do with their art. That's just what the, bro? Come on, back off.
Because I don't think they should have to change anything. You should be able to make the art that you want to make. Whether or not it's accepted by consumers or not, that's up to them. But I do believe in
that.
free speech. And from what I've gathered on this guy, he's basically a free speech advocate. So the UN did have that meeting, and they had some critiques. Like I said, they're concerned because basically
watch this anime. I forget the name of it. It's pretty much a girl that it lives in a society in a school where sex and anything like that has already been banned and already been you're not allowed to do it if you are having anything to do with sex or whether you get arrested, you go to jail, you get in prison. So this girl's trying to break it and trying to let perverted things be available, be free to everybody, and she goes around running around in her underwear. It's a comedy. But it's also like a skew on reality if we were to try to prevent freedom of sexual expression, what that world could look like, and the fight to try to keep that alive, because some people will not even enjoy it or have fun with it. I know some people are very active, very, very probably like me a little bit on the cringe side sometimes, but it's a pretty good anime. It's pretty funny too. I thought it was okay, but it did go some weird places. But it was never like, oh man, that's just wrong. It never went there, right? Unlike healing, reviving of a healer or redo of a healer, except for that anime. That anime was that. God,
Japan ignored their last report. UN committee criticizes Japanese media may incite violence against women and girls. That's right, because everybody...
I do not remember violence against her other than, the police trying to capture hold of her because she was breaking the law in course of the current day of the anime. But it wasn't like, come here, let me beat, sturf comp you to the ground.
Thanks for subscribing for 12 months. Said. Oh look, the Puritans are at it again. Was this the one with the super repressed girl that started to make cookies with her love juices?
I don't remember it was that one, but I know which one you were talking about, where she ends up coming obsessed with the main character, and she starts dripping her juices even on top of his face in one scene. But no, they're trying to censor anime, and they're trying to tell Japan how they should, if they're gonna make any mangas, video games, anime, or pornography, they have to go through them, and they get approval from the UA saying they're allowed to produce their stuff, because all their stuff is violence toward women, and they're trying to protect the women as if women asked for it. Yeah, they're trying to do that, and then they have this as a depiction. Sorry, that anime as a depiction when that woman technically is the protagonist or the MC. I don't know. She's kind of inciting everything, but yet again, she's trying to have freedom of sexual expression.
Said.
So,
are you kidding me? Japan is already one of the most repressed nations in the world sexually.
Yeah, but they had one of the highest nations when it comes to cheating. I don't know what all that means. Like, hey, we were repressed about our sex. We don't get to have very much because we're all fixated on work. But yet, when we are in marriages, we have one of the highest things on cheating. And statistically, it's all numbers, right? It can all be fubbed and fibbled here and there. But yeah, the manga definitely tells you it's the other way around. You think they would be a lot of horny people, but I guess they're very suppressed or whatever. But yeah, you ain't trying to stop them.
Watches anime, just gets up and wants to just go beat women or something. This is the most
Never felt that way, by the way.
shit
Never watched an anime when man, I would have beat the out of her.
It's cultural as well when you don't see your husband for an entire week other than to sleep a few minutes in the morning to eat really quick.
Yeah, and then have to leave, go to work, both, husband and wife, and then see each other the one comes home late at night and they go to just straight to bed, or because they had to go to some kind of drinking party afterwards because it's culturally inappropriate. If your boss or whatever, your coworker says, let's go out to drink, you're supposed to go out there and drink with them, and you come home late at night drunk off your ass, and you don't really have the gumption to really get some. Or you were engaged or in a arranged marriage, because arranged marriages in Japan are still a thing, even though I thought that was gone a long time ago. Apparently, still going.
And you're seeing corporations buckle to Western censorship.
Yeah,
How
corporations,
in the video
people that made certain other game,
So there is a concern about this stuff.
Let's see how the game actually turns out. If it's actually good,
it's always
I'll
funny
shut
to
them
me.
out.
Arranged marriages
When
are
we
still
see
a
these
thing in
people
Jewish
go
and Roma
push Japan to
communities too.
change, these are the same people that
Crazy
run around and demonize the West, calling them colonizers, and the people from the West criticize.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point right there. The dude just made a good point. So we are always, especially Americans, we're always bashionized and ridiculed that we're colonizers, whatever, right? Even though every single nation has colonized another part of their nations, and we're not the only ones that took over other people's nations. Look into history, folks. Seriously, people have been colonizing cultures for years before America. And now we're trying to colonize people's culture, and that's okay. That's okay. We're trying to culturize Japan and tell them what to do and how to think and how they should, change things. That to me is colonizing them. That's just saying, hey, stop being this way. And it wasn't for Japan's 100-year ban on foreigners coming in. The British would have colonized Japan a long time ago. They would change their clothes, their culture, their religion. I mean, a lot of stuff. But Japan went, no, 100-year ban. Then again, they did start killing a bunch of Christians and Catholics that started, converging over there. That's, again, history. I know a little bit of it.
In the West, by the way, the most woke, liberal type of people you ever met. Talking about colonialization and all of that shit. And then basically here they are trying to push their worldviews on Japan. They bully Japan quite a bit.
Not worldview, it's more like
and
nation view. Not the world believes this kind of stuff. Not everybody in the world believes this.
Content there is. I mean, there's whole sections of manga dedicated to gay and lesbian love stories or romance novels. And stuff. It's like the whole thing. I think it's called Yuri,
I can't remember. It's something S-I or S-H.
I don't read the stuff, but I know it exists. And that's mainstream stuff you can go buy in stores. So there's more content. Let me put it this way. There's content for everybody.
Yeah, there's literally a genre of manga. There's literally a genre of anime for every single. You have a genre. There's an anime out there that will suit your want and need. There's not this is a umbrella. Anime is an umbrella term. No, it is there's genres in this industry that is anime and mangas. Especially mangas. You think there's a lot of animes out there? There's a lot more mangas.
The manga area for people over in Japan.
You just said it.
But it doesn't matter because they still have sexy anime characters and stuff like that, and that's got to go.
Attractive men.
Even though I was just reading something, and I might at least talk about this on Saturday's live stream. This study talking about how women prefer to play as sexy characters. Here's the study right here. I might do a video on this.
A new research on the female video game characters uncovered a surprising twist. It is not a surprising twist. It's been a known fact. Every time you go to a cosplay, every time you go to an event, you meet some of the dorky characters or dorky people just like you. A lot of people.
Korea has the longest unbroken chain of slavery in the world. It's not colonizing their culture, it was outright killing it. However, in modern day it's less of a colonization, it's a hegemization of cultures. It's happened throughout history where cultures would hybridize with one another, like Anglo-Saxon hybridization of Latin, North German, Saxon and French culture.
Yep, it's happened a lot of times where other nations would go over there and start implementing their culture and their ideology and and another religion too. We're not gonna downplay that. And then they start, their cultures and their starts will start either fading away or it'll stay as strong, but then other people will start having a different ideology. We all should have our own ideology, our own faith and beliefs and thought process. We should be able to think for ourselves. And if a majority of people enjoy that, they like that, that's on them for them.
Oh, by the way, hi handsome, you're a sexy mofo, you know that.
Thank you. But anyways, we'll go back to the cosplay thing. Anytime you go to a convention or anytime you see girls cosplaying or guys even too, majority of people you find themselves, and when it comes to people dressing up like their favorite characters, majority of people want to dress up like the most attractive characters that are out there. And we're not talking about the girls that are just pretty in the face. No. We're talking about the girls wearing scantily clothed, scantily dressed, very fixated on their assets and showing off their body, not characters that are heavily clothed and heavily, like, the majority of people want to do that. Why? Because, well, they want to dress up like the sexy character. They want to dress like the sexy woman and a sexy man. They like that. Now, for men, it's okay. The man is very attractive and very good looking, muscly bound, 6'4", 6'5", ripped to all heaven and back. But if a woman is not, you know, the exact opposite of that, that's wrong. She can't be sexy. Why? Because I am not sexy in real life. I want someone like me. I'm not asking anybody to look like me. I'm sorry. I'm not asking anybody to make me an anime character and make me famous, baby, and want to see people dressed like me. I'm cool with that. But I do want to see a, you know, kind of, hey, say what you want. I like to see a handsome guy, right? And I like to see a very attractive girl. Why? Because I idolize it. I want to be that handsome guy. I want to be that dude that's like, you know, buffed and all ripped and having the gorgeous, you know, dime piece on my arm. And my wife, she's a fucking 10 for me, but most people might see her as a 6 or a 7.
Said,
but that's just how I see it.
if I looked like you like a drummer in a band, I'd be drowning in the well, you know.
Oh, whatever. My wife says she's a 2. But but, you know, it's just wrong to tell people that in anime that they can't have, you know, can't see a beautiful person. You know,
or I might just talk about it Saturday, but it's very interesting. We will go over it, but here's what happened, basically. The United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, the CEDAW.
Never heard of that, honestly.
What a waste of money this is. Not like, why are you patrolling anime when there's actually like real?
That's such a good point. Why is there a specific part of a government, even though I don't know if it's American based or not, but why is there a specific part of government surveilling another culture's art and entertainment? As if,
said,
like, what?
Said United Nations.
Okay, United Nations, so it's
problems.
America,
like, for example,
England,
some of the stuff in the Middle
people,
East
right?
with
Group
women,
of nations,
like them not even
something
being
like
able to
that.
drive cars or get an education, or I don't know, like having to ask their father's permission to go outside. Some of the stuff that happens over there, I would say
that nation. We're not going to talk about that nation. Ho, that gets you in trouble on Twitch now.
Cartoon drawings and video games, but you know, whatever. We know what this is all about.
Fictional characters piss off so many people, and it's, to me, I find it hilarious that people look at cartoon characters and unrealistic characters in books and cartoons and video games, and they get pissed off. They're not real. Unless you see it happen in real life, you can just fuck off with that.
It's the fact that,
or unless it's telling your kids to do some crazy shit, and maybe we can talk.
Are high up there.
Kids beat your mama. Don't beat your mama.
So they want to control it and regulate it. So it falls more in line with the rest of the bullshit that comes out in the West. According to has reportedly expressed concerns about Japanese media and the speculated impact it could have on gender and sex-based violence.
Speculated. Sorry.
You know, because people sit down and watch Sailor Moon and then they want to go out and just start slamming women around. According to free speech advocate and politician Yamada Taro, the Japanese Cabinet Office, Gender Equality Bureau, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed the contents of their meeting with the CEDAW. However, nothing further was said about the current state of Japanese media. The Japanese government has been thankfully slow to respond to external pressure when it comes to censorship of Japanese media, although the same cannot be said for its corporations. And I talked about that a little bit. The companies, they're just jumping to get involved with DEI.
Yeah, there's certain companies, again, I'm not going to specify any names here. If you've been following any of the current problem with, the Assassin's Creed game and the backlash that game is getting, it's not released yet, but the backlash that game has gotten, and that is, Nintendo's right along in there, but I haven't seen Nintendo just yet. Well, never mind, I have, because a certain Dragon game, well, not Dragon Age, but it's a different Dragon game. Yeah, it's just like, it's not the like some companies are trying to make sure that they're still in a good light so their games can still sell, right? Because certain nations are trying to stop their games to being prohibitive. But the problem is the nation doesn't speak for the customer. The customer will speak for themselves with their dollar bills. So the customer says, I want it, right? And you cannot legalize, legalize it or illegalize it, make it where I cannot get it. If I can still consume it and I can still get it, I will take my money elsewhere and get what I want and consume it, because I don't see nothing wrong with it. And they're just trying to speak for a group of people when they really can't speak for that group of people.
And it's quite sad. But for the time being, free speech remains enshrined in Japanese law with few exceptions. The problem, and he's going to talk about this, is that Japan hasn't really seriously discussed any of this yet. So we're kind of waiting on that, but it's good that people like this guy are there to fight that stuff.
And they need to.
The best stuff now comes from Japan, because they can tell the stories they want to tell without, for the most part, people breathing down their neck on what it can and can't have and what's right, what's wrong. They can pretty much just create what they want. We get some of the best stories from Japan, in my opinion. At least now we do. It used to be a little bit more even, but honestly, like, some of the best shit is anime now, in my opinion. And you might not share it, but there's great stories that come from that country now, and we don't really
amazing
get that
stories.
much from
I love
Hollywood,
their writing and the storytelling.
Everything is either political or tries to be inoffensive. Like Venom 3 pretty much tried to not offend anybody.
All right, let's keep it going.
So here's his statement. This is what he put out, and I showed you his post.
I read this earlier, but I'm going to let him say, because he probably says way better than I can.
Post translated. On October 29th, the Committee of the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women published its concluding observations on Japan's ninth periodic report.
He has some problems reading it too, not just me.
Prepared following a face-to-face review of the ninth report on the implementation of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which was held on October 17th. Now, here is the statement that Yamada gave today on social media. In this final opinion, concerns were expressed that pornography, video games, manga, and other animated products may incite violence against women and girls based on gender or sexual orientation. And I hate how naughty videos, basically hentai is, I think, probably what they're talking about here, are being mixed in with video games and manga. Also, Japan's, unless things have changed, rules on that stuff are pretty strict.
Now, I know the lines between pornography and anime and manga and even video games at times are starting to merge, starting to get closer and closer to almost being like there is a cross stream of each other, right? Pornography is starting to show its way into anime, mangas, and video games, but it's not to the extreme yet where it's just purely that. At least in Japanese media, it's pretty close, but not there. But even if it were, it would still be a sense of art. People still see pornography as an expression of art, even though it is an expression of oneself pleasure, right? It's one enjoyment, but it's also one of pleasure, right? You pleasure in some sense. I don't play a video game and find that kind of pleasure unless it has, pornography in it. Then it has that cross stream. But they're trying to say one thing is bad, and it's connected somewhat now to the other thing, so the rest of it must also be bad because of the connection. No, it's not. It's not an overall arcing umbrella. It's not an umbrella. It's a full group, but it's not an umbrella. It has its own little category, and pornography is its own category. It's like video games, and it has its own categories, and mangas and animes have their own categories.
At least from what I remember, unless it's changed, there's already rules and regulations on that stuff. It further recommended effectively implementing existing legal measures and monitoring programs to address the production and distribution of these things like video games and animation products that reinforce discriminatory gender stereotypes and reinforce violence against women and girls. However, the government has confirmed the content of the face-to-face screening, but no questions were asked about manga, anime, and games, despite not being checked.
Now, what they're just saying right there, like, let's just say for sake of instruments, fandom, when a woman takes control of a man and she's the dominant one, or a man is a dominant over a woman. But there's also a category that starts with an R. I'm not gonna say the words just in case it get me in trouble on YouTube or on Twitch, where it is some people's fantasy, mind you, right? Here's the words, fantasy, is to have that happen to them. I literally knew a girl in high school, her fantasy was to be taken from her room unwillingly and brought to the rooftop and taken there. That was her fantasy. Mind you, word, she wanted to be taken unwillingly, dragged to the rooftop, and then taken there. That was her fantasy, and some people have those fantasies. Bar me to tell you if that's right or wrong, but people enjoy that. They had that kind of fantasy. They show that, they depict that in the entertainment. They depict that in the pornography, hentai. That's what they're into. But, you know, doesn't make it's like a good thing, but that's their fantasy.
During the face-to-face screening, and company expressed its concerns. The company expressed its concerns. The one-sided content denies the freedom of expression in manga, anime, and games and calls for them to be cornered through legal action and surveillance, which is extremely unjust. We will consider requesting that the sources and grounds be disclosed, disgusting, and also requesting a retraction if this is not possible. So that's his stance, and his stance is against censorship. In short, he's trying to say that Japan has done well to keep creative expression free so far, but the government hasn't fully decided if it will keep things as they are or introduce new limits based on outside advice. They haven't really seriously discussed it.
Advice.
So, because they have not discussed it or talked about it, he doesn't know what the future is. But as of right now, they're doing a good job of letting people pretty much do whatever they want. So,
and if you let them take this, if they took this kind of reaction, then they would take a mile. Japan, if I ever get any person over there that listens to this,
I think we probably are going to see some.
You let them take this, they'll take a mile. If they take this and start to have this kind of interaction, then they go, hey, we need to stop violence against women in there, even though it happens in real life, doesn't mean it's good as nor. You know, I'm not trying to say that at all. But if you let them take this and let them tell you what they can do and can't do within manga and anime and video games, then they will say, hey, since you let us tell you what to do with, not do with that, well, let's tell you a bunch of other things we think you should take out. And if you don't, we're gonna get you. You're gonna be in trouble, right? We're gonna take some kind of actions at this, as if they have any way of actually, you know, reprimanding you and stopping you from doing it, and unless everybody starts to come to agreements and say, hey, yeah, maybe we should stop that. And then, you know, when the buyers and the people that are actually supporting the industry says, okay, we're gonna stop supporting this through our dollar, this will have no real power.
Some more censorship in time. But hopefully they have people over there like this guy that will fight it off and let them keep making what they want. But what does it matter if you already have corporations bending the knee? This other article from 2023 kind of talks about that. This game right here was censored by the CERO, which is their all ages board, basically. It's like, so what do we have over there?
Yeah, there was a literally short little things right here. There was literally a guy that made a certain dragon game, Dragon Quest, I think it was called Dragon Quest, and he made this game, and he made it years ago, and he drew the characters, depict them in drawings, stuff like that. And then they made a reboot of the game or a remake of the game or something like that, and they started censoring the characters and trying to changing a bunch of things in the game. And they were like, "Yeah, I don't like this stuff. This is stupid. I don't appreciate this. The other nations doing this to my game and doing this to our game. This is how we want to draw. This is how we want to make it, and I don't like it." And that video, that exact video, got taken down and trying to be like as if it never happened. It was already too late. The chicken already came to roost. Everybody doesn't see the video, and everybody's already like in agreement with the video, and everybody's like saying, "Yeah, like what that? Wow, that's pretty messed up." And of course, that video got taken down as if people are just gonna forget about it. No, the dude spoke his mind. He's like, "I don't like your censorship yourself." Right.
ESERB or whatever they call it. Video games kind of regulate themselves. It sounds like they've got an article, like a company or a group that does that over there as well. So, you know, hopefully things don't get bad over there. But Savvy put out a post on this too, and she pointed something out, which is true. There's really no evidence.
Okay, the war on censorship and protection of cultural freedom. It's only beginning. The UN or United Nations is assassinating, photographing anime, manga factions, and is all harmful on the bias of gender stereotypes. Not only does it deny agency to those who wish to create, it is denies the agency of women that creates the very same stories that they dare find problematic. Women write these stories too about women having bad things happen to them because they may have experienced it themselves, and they want to draw it to light. They want to depict it in their shows or their entertainment value. Good point on her. Let's see. No such proof of this claims exists. Just as video games never increase violence in anyone, makes no mistake. The people show power weaponizing compassion to getting there and multiply mental weak individuals to spread their messaging. People in power once abuse. I want absolute control. Why use a word like bad when good exists? The rabbit hole of control goes so much deeper. If you ever recall my thread, which may link below on the ERGN or EGRN, they have ties to some of the most powerful think tanks and policymakers in the world. Yeah, it's all, you follow down the rabbit hole, you go down this deep hole, you all find it leads to the same people over and over and over and over again. The same exact people. And it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. You just follow where they lead to, who pays who controls who's the boss of who, and it leads to the same people. It's ever wanting, and it's always dramatizing. It's always trying to keep people fixated on these problems when they're not really problems.
That says that anime and manga is going to hurt anybody. They just kind of, and even if there is like some kind of study, it's a social science study.
Very small group, usually. Very small group.
Social sciences have a massive replication problem. And what that means is they might do something in their lab at whatever company or school, but if some other school or company tries to replicate it, which means doing the same study, a lot of the times it fails.
Yeah, because they always do a small pool. Small pool. That doesn't work that way.
Science-based. You should be able to replicate it wherever. As long as you have the instructions and what you're supposed to do, you should be able to make it happen. And that's a big problem for the social sciences, which does all of the research on anything, talking about
it'd be like going to America and going, all right, how many people out of 50 people, how many times they cheated? Go to Japan and ask the same group of 5 people, 50 people, and same amount of genders or whatever, and see how many times they have cheated. And you find the numbers are different. Go to Europe, numbers are different. Go to Brazil, numbers are different.
Stereotypes or discrimination or prejudice, anything like that falls under a social science, and they're not very reliable, at least result-wise, in my opinion. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Also, if you would, please share the video, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
All right, I'm gonna give this link into the channel so everybody wants to watch this video. Go check it
Said.
out. Things there it is right there.
https www.youtube.com
I
watch
like the video already.
BLTWVQYBE.
I watched the video. I liked the video, so there we go. Go give him a like. Go give him opinions. I just wanted to read what that had to say or watch that video. I saw it just before I went live, so I was like, "Wait, what is this going on?" I am, I'm starting my whole new genre. Which, Tibbers, are you still here? By the way, have you watched any of my new videos? I hope you have, bro. And if you have, please go watch them. Or if you haven't, please go watch them and leave a like on the videos and leave a comment, please, bro. I would really appreciate that big time if people would actually leave likes and comments on my videos. So, because YouTube has a algorithm system where it doesn't mean how many eyes the video might get unless it gets interactions, meaning likes and comments, or likes or comments. Let's put it like that, likes or comments. YouTube won't recommend it to actually new people to actually have them go watch those videos. And I hate that. I can literally have 500 views on my video and no one leaves a like or comment on it. YouTube will not recommend it to anybody new. Even if I told 500 people and watched them watch it, it does not matter to YouTube at all how many people look at the video.
I've been trying to keep up, no excuses, apologies, I'll get on it.
I would appreciate it. I really would. It would help me out tremendously. It really would. I'm hoping you at least enjoy them. The next mangas I'm working on are these right here. So just give an idea what I'm working on next. I'm working on the Zelda and Majora's Mask manga. That's to be that one. Then I'm gonna work on the Zelda Ocarina of Time. Yeah, Ocarina of Time manga. And then one of my favorites, Slice of Life. Hanagi Don't Have Many Friends. And then one of my very first mangas I ever got, and it's gonna be a little weird, but Wish. It's one of the actually very first mangas I got. This thing is so old, like even that's yellow and spines all like kind of crooked. And this thing's been through with me for many years. It's one of the very first when I got it, and I got it from secondhand like place places burned down or places get flooded. And the items are destroyed or what, they will give it to this company and they'll sell it to people that might want it. And I was one of the people, and this was a manga that was there, and I picked it up and I loved it. I gotta get the rest of it because I had all 4, but one of my friends did give me back 1 or 2. So I gotta hurry up. I gotta get the rest of them. I think I have 1, 2, and 4. I can't find 3. I thought I had 3, but I don't know where it is, or I don't actually have it at all. It'll be a crap 6. I could have sworn I finished my collection back, but that's the next one I'm doing.